Namaste. How is everybody doing this morning? Feeling good? Learning few things? We heard brilliant talks this morning giving us seemingly different paths to get to the same destination, but underlying the Gyan Yoga and the Bhakti Yoga is you yourself. And you need to heal, you need to be healthy, you need to be happy in order to pursue on the path towards enlightenment. We were talking about Ayurveda quite a bit, and we were talking about a variety of different techniques that Ayurveda talks about. But I think one thing is important. There are two kinds of Ayurvedic doctors or physicians in general. Is that right? They are called as Pranabhisarvaidya and Rogabhisarvaidya. So you can relate to some of these things. The superior one who promotes prana and destroys the disease, and the inferior one who pursues the roga and destroys the prana. Is that right? We know those kind of doctors that are surgery successful, patient gone. So, how do we do everything that we do to pursue prana? If that is the game, that in anything that you do, if you can just use one simple yardstick, which is the yardstick towards the path of enlightenment, is what is in it that I am doing, whether it is uplifting, building, allowing my prana to grow and flow, or it is weighing me down and it is creating blockages and obstruction. And the Ayurvedic tips is very simple. And there's an age-old Ayurveda saying, if you follow the rules of diet and behavior, there is no need for medicine. And if you don't follow the rules of diet and behavior, there is no use of medicine. Pathe sati gadartasya kim aushadha nishevanam, pathe asati gadartasya kim aushadha nishevanam. So it boils down to four things that are 100% in your control. And what are they? Ahar, which is diet. But what also means is what you ingest, what you take in. From any field of perception, from any mode of intellect that goes in and becomes a part of you, is the exchange, the intelligence that you borrow from Mother Nature to keep yourself alive. That is ahara. The second is vihara. Vihara is more like your day-to-day lifestyle, how you live, in accordance with the laws of nature, with sunrise to sunset. Your dinacharya, your ratricharya, ritucharya. A cyclical repetition of an ideal daily routine is very important. The body is nothing but rhythms. And you need to respect that rhythm of doing the same things, eating around the same time, exercising around the same time, meditating around the same time, and creating a rhythmic impulse of the body. The third one is achar, as Mataji talked about this morning, is your behavior. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, because Ayurveda has given a lot of importance to your achara, your behavior. And where do you learn that? How do you develop that? And how do you perfect it is something that we will learn. And of course, vichara. Nobody teaches you how to think. Is that right? Is there a community college course, How to Think 101, anywhere, in any school in the world? No. You start thinking even before you were born. Is that right? That's the funny thing. God knows what you were thinking in your mother's womb. It's too gooey, too dark here. I'm chained to this. I can't move. It's a very tight apartment I got. I still have to spend few more months before I can breathe out. Whatever it is, it's still your thoughts. But it started even before you were born. And that flow continuously, uninterrupted, going on. Uninterrupted. So, the Achar Rasayana, which is a unique concept in Ayurveda, which actually talks about Vichar Shuddhi, how to purify your thoughts, which leads to Vak Shuddhi, how you speak and how you communicate. And what's the difference between what you think and what you say? Because as soon as you say it, the karma is created. Is that right? If you think, maybe not that much, but the moment that arrow comes out of your mouth, the karma gets created. So you need to create vichar shuddhi, you need to create vak shuddhi, which should ultimately lead to achar shuddhi, and more importantly, you're purifying your karma at the same time. Karma shuddhi. So achar rasayana is a very unique concept in Ayurveda that applies moral, ethical, behavioral, benevolent conduct, truth, non-violence, personal, public cleanliness, shuchita, shaucha. Same thing like what we talk about, the conduct, personal conduct in yama, niyama, all of those things. But these are a little bit more precise. And this is a rasayana therapy that we talk about, which is so precise that I just want you to maybe listen to it one more time. It's from Charak Samhita. And what does it actually entails? What does achar rasayana entails? What it is, and even Swamiji was talking about it this morning. And it's very interesting to really hone it down. Satyavadinam akrodham nivruttam madhyamaithunat ahinsakam anayasam prashantam priyavadinam japa shaucha param dhiram dana nityam tapasvinam Deva go brahmana acharya guru vruddharchane ratam anurushansya param nityam karuna veditam samajagarana swapnam nityam kshira ghritashinam deshakala pramanadnyam yuktidnyam anahankritam shastacharam asankirnam adhyatma pravanendriyam upasitaram vruddhanam astikanam jitatmanam dharma shastra param vidyat naram nitya rasayanam gunaireti samudite prayunkte yo rasayanam rasayan gunan sarvan yathoktan samushnate. Well, very simple. Means try to be as truthful as possible, try to control, regulate your anger, minimize the tendency for unwanted sexual indulgence, alcohol use or abuse. Try to be non-violent with your speech, thought, behavior, and conduct. Try to be as prashantam, as peaceful and blissful possible. Try to speak the sweet truth. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Do the japa. Observe cleanliness at a physical level, at an emotional level. Be patient, dheer. Have a discipline, cultivate willpower. Donate whatever you can. Nityam tapasvinam. Follow some degree of tapas for yourself and everybody else. Respect the divinity wherever you see it. Cows, brahmanas, acharya, elderly people. It's important to respect. Nityam karuna veditam. Have compassion for everyone else around it. Go to bed at a proper time, wake up at a proper time. Is that right? Samajagarana swapnam. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Yukta ahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Be a good animal. As the bird leave the nest at dawn, come back at dusk, try to do the same as much as you can. Nitya kshira ghritashinam. The natural rasayana is good quality cow's milk and good quality ghee. They have a good impact on your mind and body both. Deshakala pramanadnyam. So doing the right things in the right place. Being oriented properly. It's funny. The word orient simply means east. Is that right? When you are not facing towards eastern wisdom, then you are disoriented, I would say. Yuktidnya, anahankritam, staying away from your ego. Asankirnas, try to be as broad-minded as possible. And more importantly, control, regulate your senses, all of those things. And what is the purpose of this achar rasayana? Is moving towards what we call it as enlightened living. when you try to follow the rules of this kind of a pure diet and behavior, you're slowly getting yourself away from a contracted state of awareness. And that contracted state of awareness is me, mine, fear, duality, anger, isolation, sorrow, narrow-mindedness. Is that right? That creates a contracted awareness, fear of losing something, fear of not getting something. And that is where it shrinks everything. It creates a narrow-minded feeling where you are stuck with you and yours and doesn't allow you to feel the grace and the flow of everything around you. When you start thinking, behaving, reading, acting, spending time like this, you are slowly opening up your awareness to a state of expanded awareness. And we are trying to learn that whether I am on the right track. And what do you need to understand? Whether you can feel your expanded awareness where you can feel and experience unconditional love, unconditional happiness, happy for no good reason. Because sensorial happiness is easy, but that is fleeting. That will go away very quickly. But happy for no good reason is a non-sensorial happiness that doesn't change the state of your happiness. As Swamiji was saying this morning, Sukha dukkhe samakrutva labha labho jaya jayo. Maintaining that equanimity, whether you are happy or unhappy, whether you are victorious or vanquished. Whether you are flexible to go with the flow. Do you have an open mind to accept things as they are without trying to change things? We accept the weather as they are without trying to change anything. Whether we can be flexible enough to do that. And slowly move towards a pure state of awareness. Pure state of awareness, which is oneness. Being spontaneous with what is happening around you. Feeling fulfilled and content, santosha, most of the time. And feeling inner peace and radiating that peace and freedom around you. And that oneness is important. There's a funny joke that you might have heard about Dalai Lama. Is that right? Is always smiling and giggling. So Dalai Lama walks into a pizza shop and the guy asks him that what kind of toppings you want. And he says, make me one with everything. And he's smiling all the time. He's giggling. It's like a childlike twinkle in his eyes. So how to lead a sattvic life? So this is an action plan. And what is the action plan? We need to start moving from tamasic to rajasic. And how to move from tamasic to rajasic? Number one is to increase Agni. Agni is the fire, heat, energy, radiance, luster, whatever you want to call it. The English word ignite comes from the root word Agni, ignition. You want to ignite your passion. You want to ignite something where you are doing something and you get charged up. Whether you do it through exercise, sadhana, tapas, practice, walk, hike, bike, whatever you want to do. Add some spices. This is an ama reduction protocol. Is that right? You do langana, you do amapachana, you do agni vardhana, you do shodhana and shamana. These are all Ayurvedic terms, but that's what any standard Ayurvedic doctor is going to do for you, where he will look at your tongue and see, gosh, this is so coated, thick and yucky. You need to fast, you need to stay away from food, you need to drink these herbal spicy tea with some ginger, and keep on sipping it warm all day long. Creates vasodilation, opening, make you sweat, cleanse, detox, lighten up. Exercise, keep everything moving. You want to shed the heaviness. If someone who is filled with dull, heavy, groggy, toxic ama, and I tell them you need to sit and meditate, oh gosh, they would love it, isn't it? They will start sitting and snoring next minute. Because there's so much of dullness and heaviness that the meditation is not going to do anything for them. So you have to lighten them first. You have to lighten them first by using all those things and be very objective. Do it for 21 days, do it for 30 days, do it for 60 days. And when you challenge them and you watch this journey, and once they are feeling light, then you move from Rajas to Sattva. And you move that Rajas to Sattva by increasing Akasha. You create more space. You create more gap. You create space where you give them very specific goals. You give them some nervine herbs, tonics to have that experience. And even the herbs are named as Brahmi. Is that right? So something that gives you the experience of Brahman. And all the herbs that we use are having these wonderful adaptogenic qualities, whether it is Tulsi, whether it is Ashwagandha, whether it is Shatavari. Many of the names are of gods and goddesses given to these herbal energetics that are around us. And you use them as the right kind of food and spices, as herbal intelligence to invoke the space. So the body is using them, consuming them, you are increasing Akasha. Along with that, you create the goals for them. Help them do selfless activity. Is that right? You have to transcend that rajas now. You don't want to inflate that ego. You want to do seva. Seva is love in action. And that seva, that selfless actions at this stage by helping others. We often say Jana Seva, Janardhan Seva. Doing any seva is the help as if you're worshipping the God. Whether you do it for a deity or helping any disabled person or however you want to do. It's much more than writing charity checks. It's about helping others, feeling other people's pain and suffering. And we are all more or less there. We are trying to eat sattvic foods. And at some point, if we continue on to this path, we can't be too attached that we are so sattvic and I eat only clean and pure foods and I have to drive 100 miles to eat organic food only, otherwise I get organic panic, what they call it. And then you create your inflated sattvic ego to a degree where I'm up on the pedestal and you are a tiny little creature there, so I can't relate to you because you don't meditate, you eat this, you do that. You have to transcend that ego as well. Is that right? Sattva is a guna also. We are talking about becoming nirguna or going towards nirguna. So until you transcend even sattva, is that right? Lord Krishna says, Nistraigunya bhavarjuna. Is that right? Be devoid of all the three gunas. Even that can become a huge obstacle onto your path of enlightenment. And it happens, even within spiritual organizations, we see a lot of clashes of ego which happens with this situation. So, what we can do is eat sattvic foods. And sattvic foods are very simple. My definition is eat only God-made foods, not man-made foods, ideally. If you are sticking close to the source, God-made foods could be milk, could be herbs, spices, ghee, whole grains, properly cooked, easy to digest. Digestion is so important, is that right? It doesn't matter what you're eating. It's not what you eat, what you digest. There's a saying in Ayurveda that to eat is human, but to digest is divine. It's the essence, is that right? You're offering the food to the divinity within you. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Prana Pana Samayuktam Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. So that's offering to a yajna within your own body. And the cleaner the food, the cleaner the input, clear the output is going to be. So, fresh vegetables, honey, nuts, mung beans, peacefully eating, eating less, eating light, feeling bright, eating at the right time, staying away from things that are too much rajasic. It doesn't mean you can never eat that, but minimizing those things. What are those? Excess amount of caffeine, alcohol, non-vegetarian foods, onions, garlic, too much of lentils, citrus, deep-fried, spicy foods, chocolate, salt, because it's stimulating. It's still stimulating. Eating too fast without paying attention to anything. And there's a whole ritual of how to eat, when to eat, but I'm just giving you a little sneak preview of that. And ideally, tamasic food, minimizing that. And there's always a debate between us and our students that we have, that protein is important, I have to eat my steak, I have to eat this, I have to eat that. And I said, you can eat your steak, I don't have any problem, but it doesn't contain any prana in that anymore. If you take some of my rice grains and put it in the soil, you can get a new plant out of it. If you put your steak in the ground, you won't get a new cow out of it. And the yardstick is whether it contains the prana, whether it has the prana in there. Fast foods, fried foods, frozen foods, canned, stale, putrid, leftover, packaged. And with this advent of microplastic going everywhere in your body, you should be even more cautious where everything is wrapped into the plastic itself. And the other concept about sattvic food is eating what is in season at that moment. Is that right? How many of you shop in farmers market? It's a smart way to do that, because when you go to farmers market, you can get only things what you're supposed to eat in that season. When you go to 24/7 supermarket, you can get any food from any part of the world which is not good for you at that moment. So it's a good habit. Another important thing is about longevity therapies. Everything that we do in Ayurveda is starting with the word Dirgham Jiviti Adhyaya. Everything that you do is to promote the quality of your health span. Not only just the lifespan, but the health span. What do you need to do? You need to eat the food which is plant-based superfoods. Food that are filled with prana, mana, chi. There's a modern way to check the food, which is called as ORAC value. Anybody heard this term before? ORAC, ORAC value. ORAC value simply means oxygen radical absorbance capacity. So it actually can tell you whether how much prana is filled in this food. And you can look it up on internet and you'll find foods with ORAC value. And there's another term called as ANDI score, ANDI score, which is aggregate of nutrient density index. Aggregate of nutrient density index. And you can get that list on internet also. And you will see that those foods which are very high on ANDI score and ORAC value is what are sattvic foods most of the time. They are superfoods. Rainbow colored food. The more colorful the food is, the more nutrient dense the food is. So when you look at the plate, if your plate looks like a rainbow colored plate, you're on the right path. Without even worried about required daily allowances of anything. Fast. Eat less, eat light. Fast at least in between the meals, guys. At least. Okay? From breakfast to lunch, try not to eat anything. From lunch to dinner, try not to eat anything. Then try to make a little early dinner and try to not to eat anything till you eat next day morning till breakfast. And if you can do that, this is the daily ampachana. Fasting is one of the quickest way for feeling lighter and coming closer to enlightenment. Internal oleation, external oleation, consuming plant-based oils that are good for your body, good for your brain, ghee, doing Agni Deepana, eating spices, ginger water, ginger pickle, Svedana, sweating, warming, opening wherever the kleda is situated, you release, and sweating creates lightness, creates vasodilation. When you dilate, you don't die early. Vyayama. Vyayama, you do exercise. It cultivates lightness, flexibility, mobility, energizing. Sleep. I think it's one of the most powerful things that one does. We like to call it as Yoga Maya. It's the mother goddess which casts her spell and energizes each and every one of us. My next book is about the Nidra Devi. It's so poetic. The Ayurvedic description of sleep, what it can do. Modern medicine is barely scratching its surface right now to really understand what are the reasons, how we sleep, why we sleep, and what is the purpose of it. It's almost like we are doing a dress rehearsal of dying every night, but we still show up every morning. And if we can use that time to elevate our higher states of consciousness, where we leave the edges and the boundaries of our body behind, take our senses to a certain extent and slowly merge and elevate to higher degree of consciousness. And again, we can talk more about it, but from an Ayurvedic perspective, it's the very basis of health. Nidrayattam sukham dukkham pushti karsha balabalam vrishata klibata jnanam ajnanam jivitam nacha. Your memory, retention, recall, focus, cognition, health, longevity, lifespan, digestion, weight, energy, everything depends upon the quality of sleep. And we used to think earlier, when you have nothing else to do, what you do is sleep. But now you have to program your sleep and you need to feel energetic. Because we all know a good day begins the night before. Spices, eating foods which are healthy, doing cleanses, purification. It's very important to do cleanses. Eating intelligent foods and spices, especially herbal intelligence. Could be Chavanprash, could be Ashwagandha Valeha, could be Amal Ki Rasayana. Achar Rasayana we talked about. We talked about forest bathing, because there's no better medicine than sunlight and fresh air. Nothing better than that. Actually, going back to sleep, one of the biggest marker that influences your sleep is how much time you have spent outdoors in natural light. Multiple research papers that talk about exposure to daylight decides the quality of your sleep in the night. So forest bathing, biophilia, and pursuit of enlightenment, doing some spiritual practice is important. Sensory regulation, we talked about it, controlling, regulating your senses. There's a beautiful sutra from Raja Bhartruhari in Vairagya Shatakam. He says, Bhogana bhukta, vayameva bhukta. So the bhogas don't end, but we perish. Kalo na yata, vayameva yata. The time doesn't go anywhere, but we are gone. Is that right? It is eternal. It doesn't go anywhere. We think that the time is going away, but what is? We are shedding bits and pieces against the backdrop of time. Trushna na jirna, vayameva jirna. The thirst, the desire for sensory pleasure doesn't go away, doesn't fade away. What fades away? We fade away. So it's a very interesting way that regulating your senses, and I told you, misuse, overuse, underuse, abuse of your sensory faculties is number one reason for a destabilized mind, which leads to a destabilized intellect, and that begins your journey on a downward hill. So, controlling, regulating senses through a daily practice of meditation, yoga, fasting, silent retreat, satsanga, minimizing compulsive needs of any kind. And now, I'm going to give you a quick prescription. A prescription for enlightened living. Okay? Ready for this? Synchronize your biological rhythms with nature. From sunrise to sunset. Experience deep rest, daily renewal, daily rejuvenation, and daily purification. Everything that you do on a daily basis is very important. Eat consciously, eat light and pure foods, eat foods which are fresh, light, vibrant, complex grains, good quality nuts and seeds. Drink plenty of natural, clean water. Holy waters, as I like to call it. Stay away from unholy waters. Eat in small quantities, chew well, regular exercise, fit body, fit mind, keep all the moving parts moving. Eliminate toxicity. So identify where the things which are impure that are coming in your body and life. When you detox, you purify. Treat your body like a temple, not trash. Also, kaya, vacha, mansa, physically, mentally, verbally. Practice seasonal cleanses. As I told you, spring cleanse and spring equinox and fall equinox. Those are the 2 days set in. Sharadiya Navratra, Vasantik Navratra. 9 days of Mother Divine, excellent time for cleansing. The nature is changing its gears. The seasons are changing. Best time to do a cleanse. 1 week each. Anybody did castor oil cleanse here? Castor oil cleanse? Gosh, only one hand. You all guys need to see me and read my book, Hot Belly Diet. It's a great habit every 3 months to do a castor oil cleanse. A good habit to cultivate and develop. You'll see the difference. You do it 4 times a year for 1 year and see how your health feels. Respect nature's plan. Minimize, cultivate habits. Stay away from something. It's that not you should never drink or anything, but minimize it. Don't get too clingy and dependent onto that. Be patient, be flexible, and be resilient. Try to live in the present. Future is a mystery. Past is gone, history. Quiet the internal dialogue with meditation. That doesn't mean that you have to be in one place to quiet the internal dialogue. You should create these moments of stillness and mindfulness infused throughout the day, where you're sitting, watching, even driving at a stoplight. You can practice that. Pranayama, meditation, making silence, meditation, prayer, a daily practice, cultivating happiness, that you can be happy no matter what. Be self-aware, changing your perceptions, because yes, what you see is what you see. But what you take in, it becomes yours. You can take something, really look at something good, but only absorb at negativity that you dwell. You know those kind of people? They have everything good in their life, but they still complain and whine about something that is missing, and they live into that negative moment where they make not only but everyone else's life toxic around them. So, where you focus, how you choose your perceptions, how you convert your physiology, expand your awareness, listening to your body's signals. If your body is telling you something, just listen to it. Whether you're hungry, whether you're thirsty, whether you're sleepy, whether you're tired, whether your joints are hurting, or whether it's any kind of signal, whether you can follow that. The world out there reflects your reality in here, because it's your reactivity to the world and to the environment which creates not only the karma, but the feelings and the health in your own body. Shed the burden of judgment. The sooner you do, the better it is. Is that right? Idam na mama. That's not mine. What you say, what you do is your problem. What you even think of me is not my problem, it's your problem. How much time we spend, is that right? Log kya kahenge? What will people say about me? What will they think of me? How will they feel? What are they going to say? It's none of your business. You allow yourselves to continue to be judgmental and hurt yourself with that. And then relinquish the approval from others. There's no need for you to feel good only when someone else tells you about it. Observe yourself a little bit more in a detached manner. Don't take yourselves too seriously. Okay, guys? It is what it is. That is the mantra. Frequent vacations, consciously slowing down the pace of life, spending time outdoors, becoming compassionate, making people feel important. That's very important. If you make them feel important, respected, valued, loved, appreciated, that is exactly what you get for yourself. And do something good daily. A compliment, an appreciation, speech, words, deeds, positive affirmation. And as Swamiji said yesterday, let go. Because you don't want to hold on to something that is hurting you unnecessarily. If you're holding on to it, you're walking around with the burden and the baggage, as we call it. And keep yourself busy. Find your purpose and passion. This is all practical Vedanta, by the way, okay? Find your purpose. We can give you a sutra, shloka for every word that we are saying here. Find your purpose, something bigger, better, greater than yourself that you can contribute. Follow the inspiration of the moment. Try to be creative. Contribute to something greater than yourself. Try to learn something new. I love this quote from Raman Maharshi. Wanting to reform the world without discovering one's true self is like covering the world with leather to avoid pain of walking on stones and thorns. Isn't it? Wear your shoes, and your meditation, your sadhana is those leather shoes that you walk around, that nothing bugs you, nothing bothers you. And I'm going to challenge you with these 20 signs of spiritual awakening now. Okay? See how close you are to each one of them. And if you feel that you are close to all these 20 attributes, we all are very proud of you. Let's do an interactive things. How many of you have seen a positive change in your behavior since you practicing, starting, learning, reading all about it? I would like to see every hand come up, but okay. There's a deepening sense of well-being, that you feel good about yourself wherever you are, whatever the state of life it is. A generalized state of well-being. All of us? Good. You do have developed a tendency to slow down and reflect back. You're not in a mad rush to get anywhere and get anything, but you have that Sihavalokan, as Swamiji was saying, that you can do a retrospection. Self-honesty and responsibility. Good. You have to be honest to yourself. And you're comfortable with holding opposites together. Because it can fly in your face all the time. Opposites make it very interesting. Even now, is that right? Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, sound opposite, but it's good to be comfortable in both the spaces at once. Feel comfortable that you can hold all this without feeling the friction of it. Reduce interest in conflict nowadays. Is that right? You don't want to argue and conflict and bicker about it and piss off and do a challenge that you are red, I am blue. No need. Less of judging self and others. Are you guys getting there? Less of judging self and others. Tendency to let things happen rather forcing them happen. These are all signs that you're on the right path. A shift in priorities and values. Now those good old ideas of entertainment do not amuse you. Those good old ideas of vacations don't amuse you. Those things that you used to enjoy to eat doesn't feel that good to you. Is that right? You can feel the shift, what is going on. That is a sign that you are onto the path towards enlightenment. You're expressing appreciation and gratitude more often. Come on, guys, raise your hands if you are. Expressing gratitude and appreciation to every person, whether you're buying a cup of coffee at barista, say something nice. Doesn't hurt, won't hurt to anything. Ability to love without any expectations. like the session we were talking about yesterday. Is that right? When it's expectations, then we can't really love unconditionally. But if we really love them, more power to you, you be happy, I still love you. Desire to spend more time outdoors in nature. You enjoy that. You feel real connection, that there's something in that experience that nurtures, because you are 100% made in and made by nature. Is that right? Desire to eat clean, fresh, plant-based foods. Slowly you are turning and making your journey toward that. You see yourself more smiles, less frown, and less complaining. Anyone? Shift in the ideas of recreation and entertainment? Obviously, yes. Otherwise, you won't be here. Enjoying silence. As Swamiji said yesterday, speech is silver, silence is golden. So it's the language of God. So feeling more comfortable in silence. Feeling more comfortable with yourself. Meditation and prayer, making people feel important, valued and respected, living in the present, forgiving easily. You should develop that if you haven't, but for your own selfish reason, you need to forgive them. And contribute to something bigger, better, and greater than yourself. And Mataji laid out this morning, but I would just like to repeat this, that satsanga, what we are doing here, good company. Satsanga creates nissanga, creates detachment, dispassionate detachment. Nissangatva creates nirmohatva, takes you away from the confusion, delusion, chaos, maya. And from the state of nirmoha, you do become steady. You don't waver that easily. You become steadfast. It's not that you become completely immobile, but you are steadfast. You are not swaying in this or that direction a whole lot. And as you become more and more steadfast, you open the way towards Jivana Mukti, towards self-realization and liberation. Namaste. Thank you.